Hi, and welcome back to the lecture series on being human. My name is Chris. Today, I've got a question to ask you. It might sound like a silly question at first, but if we get into it, I think you might see it a little bit differently. I'm going to ask you the questions: does the universe love you? Right? Because we've all said the universe hates us. We wake up late for work, it's pouring rain, we don't have any coffee left, the car won't start. I'm like, the universe hates me today. But we don't really mean it. In fact, most of us believe that the universe is ambivalent, doesn't care one way or the other. It doesn't out to get us, but it doesn't have our back either. And we think that we live in this universe where it doesn't care about us, it doesn't think about us. Now, I'd like to make the counter argument. I strongly believe the universe loves you. And I think there's everyday, ordinary evidence of that everywhere you look. Example, did you have breakfast this morning? If you had breakfast this morning, well, there's a lot of carbon in the food you eat, and we don't need a lot of carbon. So it gets circulated through our bloodstream, and when it hits the lungs, it becomes oxygenized. It becomes a gas called carbon dioxide. And it's a waste product that we don't need, and we breathe out that waste product, carbon dioxide. And that tree outside my window, it uses that carbon dioxide through a process called photosynthesis to create sugars to allow the tree to grow, and the tree gives off this waste product it doesn't need called oxygen, which we in turn breathe in. Half of our respiratory system is outside in that tree. To see this as anything other than extraordinary, to see this as anything other than almost indistinguishable from magic, is a misunderstanding about what the universe thinks of us. Have you gone for a car ride lately? If you've been in a car, well, some of those parts in that car, they are measured within the thousandths of an inch. And those pieces come together in just the right way to create a car that you can safely get to where you need to go. These parts, they're made all over the world. They're made in different countries. Some of them are made in Germany, some in Mexico, some in the Philippines, some in the United States, all by different people who speak different languages, have different cultures, different beliefs, different dreams, different hopes, different families. And all these pieces come together to fit perfectly so you can get to work safely in the morning. When you think about it, you zoom out and you take the big picture, it seems like the universe is set up in a way that loves us. It seems to care about us. Have you made a phone call lately on your cell phone? Think about that for a minute. I can talk into my cell phone. My cell phone would then turn that message into an energy wave. It'll send that energy wave to a cell phone tower, and that cell phone tower will find the person that I want to talk to. I could be talking to somebody in Germany right now who's on a bullet train going 80 miles an hour, and my voice will find his phone. And we can talk to the point where we can talk over each other. It's instantaneous. It's really amazing when you think about it. These everyday, ordinary miracles, these everyday wonderments that make you think that maybe there's something special about the universe. Maybe there's something special about you. You know, geese are a great example of this. Geese know to fly south in the winter. Now, geese have little tiny heads and little tiny brains. How do they know to fly south? They don't have a calendar. They don't have a compass. They just know. It's instinctual. It's part of the kindness and the intelligence behind the design of them. Geese don't have a meeting out here in this field and say, you know what, it's getting kind of late in the year, so what I want to do is, 800 hours, I want to fly out and we'll fly due south. And what we'll do is we'll fly in a V formation to cut down on wind shear. And when I get tired, I want you to come up off my flank and take lead for a while. No, they just know. It's instinctual. It's built into the design. And there seems to be a kindness to that design, because if they stayed up north, there wouldn't be enough food and water for them to drink and they would die. So we can kind of start to see that the universe is set up in a way that's almost perfect for us. It's almost set up in a way where we have these ordinary, everyday miracles. These things that are, on one hand, so incredible, so wondrous, so amazing. The other hand, so ordinary, we don't even think about them. We don't even think to marvel in the fact that this is able to happen. In fact, we drop a phone call and we get upset with the phone. You stupid phone. We don't think about how amazing it is to be able to talk to somebody halfway across the world in real time. It's all kinds of evidence in this, whether we look at the solar system, we look at the seasons, we look at the way the trees grow. An acorn knows exactly how to become a 40-foot oak tree. Nobody has to teach it or tell it what to do, and everything it needs to become that 40-foot oak tree, it already has. It comes already in the acorn. And that's pretty amazing when you think about it. But we just pick them up off the lawn when in the fall, rake them up into a pile and throw them in the woods. We don't slow down to think about the kindness and the intelligence behind the design of life. We don't slow down to think about everything that is perfect about the system, the design. We see this in the animal kingdom. We see this in our own bodies. You get a paper cut, what do? A little paper cut, you say, shit, that hurts. But then you just leave it alone. Because your body knows exactly how to return you back to perfect health. It knows exactly what it's doing. You might put a Band-Aid on it, but even if you don't, the body will take care of it. The body knows how to clean the cut. It'll push out all the debris or anything that's not needed. It'll attack the germs. The body will create endorphins. It'll rush those endorphins down to the cut area on red blood cells. It'll attach those endorphins, the body's natural painkiller, to the damaged nerve cells to cut down on the pain. You ever cut yourself and it doesn't hurt at first, and 20 minutes later it stings like hell? Yeah, it's because the endorphins are doing their job. They're proactive. At the same time, the body will create white blood platelets. It'll attach the white blood platelets to the red blood cells. And when the white blood platelets get to the cut area and it senses the oxygen outside the body, it releases. And those white blood platelets become that sticky, goopy mess on your hand when you get a cut. That sticky, goopy mess is a good thing. That's what keeps you from bleeding to death. And that sticky, goopy mess, it'll harden into a scab. And underneath that scab, the skin cells will regrow themselves, one by one, returning you back to perfect health. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. And your only job in all of this is not to pick at the scab, just to leave it alone. The body knows exactly what this is doing. It seems to be a kindness and intelligence behind the design. Make no mistake about it. From the moment you are born to the moment you pass away, the body is trying to return you back to perfect health. When you die, it's lost this fight, but it's still trying. And you don't have to do anything to make that happen. That is something that's happening naturally. That is a part of the kindness and the intelligence behind the design of you. So we see this in our own bodies. We see this in nature. We see this in systems all around us. But when it comes to our experience of the world, when it comes to our experience of life, we say, oh, that's the one exception. That's the one place that there's not a kindness and intelligence behind the design. That's the one place where I'm on my own and the universe doesn't have my back. Well, what if we had that wrong? What if we misunderstood that? What if that wasn't true? To understand this, to truly try to kind of see this, what I want you to do is I want you to do a thought experiment with me. See, I want you to imagine that you could lucid dream. If you don't know what I'm talking about, lucid dreaming is meaning you control all aspects of your dream. Everything that you dream is something that you purposefully put in that dream. There's about 1% of the population can lucid dream. Most people can lucid dream for a little while, but about 1% of the population can do it all the time. Now I want you to imagine that you can lucid dream. So every night that you go to bed, you're in search of the perfect dream. At first, in search of your perfect dream, you probably go on these fantastic vacations with these fantastic and beautiful, interesting people. Maybe you go to Egypt and tour the pyramids, and maybe you go to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia and go scuba diving. Maybe you go to the French Riviera and go to a party on a yacht. Maybe the next night you go down to South America and you go hiking with the howl of monkeys. And every night you have this perfect dream, this perfect vacation with these perfect people that are interesting and fun and beautiful. And you've found your perfect dream. Now, after about 6 months of your perfect dream, you start to realize, well, every night you just go on vacation. You're not working towards anything. You're not building towards anything. You don't have anything to show for it. While it's fun, you start to feel hollow. You start to feel like you need something. You start to feel like something might be missing from your life. But that's okay because you can lucid dream. So what you do is you create a job. Something that gives you meaning and purpose. Something that you can work towards. Something you feel good about. And then you have anticipation during the week so you can go and hang out with your beautiful friends and do amazing things on the weekends. And now you have this perfect dream. You have this perfect dream where you have value and meaning. You have something you're working towards. And you have this incredible weekends that you spend with these incredible, beautiful people, and you have the perfect dream. Well, after a couple more months of the perfect dream, you start to realize that you're not growing. You're not changing. You're not challenged. Everything's going perfectly. Your friends are perfect. Your job is perfect. And without challenges, without difficulties, without things going wrong every once in a while, you can't learn. You're not going to grow as a person. So maybe because you can lucid dream, you want to learn about patience. So in your dream, you get a flat tire and you have to wait 3 hours on the side of the highway for the tow truck driver to come and fix the tire. Or maybe you get into a fight with one of your perfect friends to teach you about humility, to teach you about relationships, to teach you how to reconnect, to teach you the importance of being a good friend. Maybe you get laid off from your job to teach you about your strength and your resiliency and your humility. And now that you have some difficulties built in, and you have a job, and you have these great people around you, now you have the perfect dream. As you continue in search of this perfect dream, you start to realize that your perfect dream is looking more and more like your life exactly as it is right now, with all of its lessons and difficulties, with all of its great moments, with its purpose and drive. And you start to realize that you are always living the perfect dream exactly as you were right when you were awake. Right? I can't think of a better system to be put in place for me to learn. I have learned so much more from my biggest mistakes than I ever have my biggest achievements. And as you start to see that the life might be set up with a kindness and intelligence behind the design, you might see that all these difficult things that have come your way have made you stronger, have taught you lessons. Your biggest difficulties are your greatest teachers and mentors. And I couldn't imagine dreaming up a better design for me to learn something new, for me to grow as a person, for me to mature emotionally, spiritually, for me to be a better version of me. It seems to me, as far as I know, we only get one trip down the river of life. But as far as I know, the river's been there for thousands and thousands of years, and the river knows exactly where it's going. So who am I to question which way the river turns next? Seems to me like the universe loves you. Seems to me like it's out to get you. It's not ambivalent. It's actually set up perfectly, exactly as it's designed for you to become the best version of you possible. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. I hope to talk to you guys again very soon. Thank you so much for checking in.